Hello, dear students. Today we'll start with the fourth chapter of democratic politics, that is electoral politics. This is the first part of the chapter. Electoral politics. As you can see on your screen, that it is all about electoral competition. This chapter deals with that why elections are necessary, why we need election, what makes an election democratic, is it good to have political competitions or not, means what are the advantages and disadvantages of political competition. So we'll quickly start with a newspaper article which you can see in front of you. It is a newspaper article which tells about how the people of Karnal, it is a small town in Haryana, it is Karnal. People of Karnal, they were waiting for a leader named Mr. Devi Lal, who was about to address them, and they were eagerly waiting for their leader. Actually, this newspaper report is about the state assembly elections in Haryana in 1987. The state has been ruled by a Congress party led government since 1982. Means since 1982 to 87, which was the ruling party? Congress party. Chaudhry Devi Lal was at that time opposition leader. He also led a movement called Nyay Yudh, means struggle for justice, and formed a new party. And what was the name of the new party? Lok Dal. So who was the ruling party? Congress, and opposition party Lok Dal, led by Chaudhry Devi Lal. His party joined other opposition parties to form a front, means 2 or 3 or 4 other parties they joined with Lok Dal to form a front against the Congress in the elections of 1987. Now, in the election campaign, Devi Lal said that if his party won the elections, his government would waive the loans of farmers and small businessmen. Means all the loans which were taken by farmers and small businessmen will be waived off. Means it will not be taken back. He promised that this would be the first action of his government if his party wins the election. The people were happy with the existing government. Unhappy with the existing government. People were unhappy with the Congress party, the way they ruled. People were against the policies of Congress. They were also attracted by Devi Lal's promise. And what was his promise? To waive off the loans of the farmers and businessmen. And he said that this would be the first action of his government. That's why people were attracted by Devi Lal's promise. So when elections were held, people voted in favor of Lok Dal and its allies. And finally, Lok Dal and its partners won 76 out of 90 seats in the state assembly elections of Haryana. Lok Dal alone won 60 seats, and thus a clear majority in the assembly. It was having a clear majority in the assembly. The Congress could win only 5 seats. Once the election results were announced, the sitting chief minister resigned. Means the sitting chief minister of Congress, he resigned. The newly elected members of Legislative Assembly, or MLAs you can say in short, of Lokdal choose Devilal as their leader. The governor invited Devilal to be the new chief minister. 3 days after the election results were declared, he became the chief minister. Chaudhary Devilal became the chief minister. As soon as he became the chief minister, his government issued a government order. And according to his promise, that government order was containing the orders of waiving the outstanding loans of small farmers, agricultural laborers, and small businessmen. His party ruled the state for 4 years. And the next elections were held in the year 1991. But this time, his party, that was Lokdal, did not win popular support. The Congress won the election and formed the government. So, it is not merely a story, students. Actually, this is a process that how elections takes place. What is the mechanism? How election campaigns are there? People, how do they choose the policies and programs? And according to that, they cast their vote. And ruling party is having equal chances of losing the election as well as winning the election also. It is a clear-cut process that how the voting system was done. After that, the sitting MP or MLA, they choose their leader. How governor appointed Chaudhary Devilal as a new chief minister of Haryana. And after regular interval, again in the year 1991, elections were held. And again, the sitting chief minister lost the public support. And again in the year 1991, Congress formed the government. So, this is a process which is with the help of a story which is being told to you in short. Now, let us discuss in detail. Now, the very first question is, what is an election? So, I must tell you, an election is a formal decision-making process by which a population chooses an individual to hold public office. It is a mechanism by which people can choose their representatives at regular intervals and change them if they wish to do so. Elections are held to choose people's representatives. If the ruling party or the government is popular among people, they will again choose the same party. They will cast their vote in favor of that party. And if they do not perform well, of course, people have choices after a regular interval of time so that they can change their ruler. So this is what you call is election. It is a type of mechanism. Now we come to know that what is an election. Now the next question is, why do we need election? What is the need of election? So, before going through the main points, let us discuss that why do we need election. let us imagine, let us try to imagine a democracy without elections. A rule of people is possible without any election if all the people can sit together every day and take all decisions. But is it possible? Is it possible that people every day people can sit together and take all the decisions? No. The clear cut answer is no. In a large community like India, it is not possible. Why? Because everyone is not having that time as well as the knowledge to take decisions on all matters. Therefore, in most democracies, people rule through their representatives. And how their representatives are elected? With the help of elections. Free and fair elections. That we'll discuss later on, free and fair elections. That's why we need elections, because it is not possible for all the people who can sit together every day and take all decisions. Because number one, they are not having time. Number two, they are not having knowledge. All the people are not having knowledge to take decisions on all matters, whether defense, finance, many ministries are there. So, elections are necessary. People, they need a mechanism by which people can choose their representatives at regular interval of time, and this mechanism is called election. Now, if we say, why do we need election? So that people can choose their representatives who will make laws for them. So that people can choose who will form the government and take major decisions for them. So that people can choose the party whose policies will guide the government and lawmaking. That's why elections are necessary. If elections are not there, it is not possible for the citizens to sit together and take all decisions on all matters. That's why we need elections. Now, first of all, we discussed what is election. After that, we discussed that why do we need election. Now, we came to a conclusion that yes, elections are necessary. In the first chapter, we studied that many of the countries are there who conduct election, but they are not democratic. But in a country like India, we can say that yes, elections are democratic. Now, the question is, what makes an election democratic? What makes an election democratic? So, the answer is, everyone should be able to choose, means those who have attained the age of 18, that is universal adult franchise, everyone should be able to choose. This means that everyone should have one vote and every vote should have equal value. This makes election democratic. Now the second one, there should be something to choose from, means people should have choice. It is not that a country like China where only single party is there, Communist Party. It should be like India where multi-party system is there. People should choose, they should have options, they should have choices. There should be something to choose from. Parties and candidates should be free to contest elections and should offer some real choices to the voters. And these choices should be offered at regular interval of time. Likewise, in India, elections are held after every 5 years. So these choices should be offered after a regular interval of time. Now, the next thing which makes election democratic, the person, the candidate who has got maximum number of votes by the people should get elected. And the last one, election should be conducted in free and fair manner where people can choose as they really wish to do so. So these are some of the points which makes the election process democratic. Now, one more point was there, importance of election. Why do we need election? That is, importance of election. Elections help people to choose leaders who will take decisions on the behalf of the people. Elections allows people to choose who will form the government and take major decisions. Elections help to ensure people's power. It gives people supreme authority to choose efficient and trustworthy leaders. So, till now we have studied what is election, why do we need election, importance of election, and what makes an election democratic. Now, in the later half, we are going to study about, is it good to have political competition? Yes, there are some disadvantages also, and there are some advantages also. So first of all, let us discuss some of the disadvantages in brief, and after that we'll study it in detail. So what are the disadvantages of political competition? Elections creates a sense of disunity between people. Dirty tricks done by different parties discourage good political thinkers and leaders from contesting in unhealthy elections. Disputes on election between candidates may end up in assaults and crimes. So, let us discuss the first point in detail. Election creates a sense of disunity among the people. Look, students, actually, in a society, people, they follow the policies and programs of different parties. In an electoral competition, it creates a sense of disunity because a person in the society, he is a follower of a different political party. Second person in the society, he is follower of a different political party. So there is a sense of disunity because they are having their different political views. People, they are having different political views, and this creates a sense of disunity. Second point, dirty tricks. Yes, of course. Different political parties and leaders often level allegations against one another. To win the election, of course, political parties there, so they will try to win the election, but often they use dirty tricks to win elections. Many of the times in our society also, in panchayats also, we have seen it comes to our notice that some dirty tricks were used to win the elections. Some people say that this pressure to win electoral fights does not allow sensible long-term policies to be formulated. Some good people who may wish to serve the country do not enter this arena. Some good people who can do good for the people, for the society, they do not want to enter to this arena. Why? Because they find it unhealthy. Just because of this. So these were some of the disadvantages. Yes, one more thing, the last one, disputes on election between candidates may end up in assaults and crimes. Many a times in the news channels we see that assaults and crimes also take place between the followers, between the workers, between the leaders of different parties at the time of elections. But can we really say that because of these points only political competition is not good? No, we cannot say that. It has some advantages also. Now, what are those advantages? Let us discuss in brief. Later on we will discuss in detail. It makes the existing party, incumbent party, to work harder to get elected. Competitions make the parties to do service for people. Competitions make the people and the parties to evaluate the skills of a particular candidate. In short, with a very good example, I would like to tell you this advantage of a political party, a political competition is that if a shopkeeper is interested only in his profit, he is forced to give good service to the customer. If he does not, the customer will go to some other shop. Similarly, political competition may cause divisions and some ugliness, but it finally helps to force political parties and leaders to serve the people. Because if they will not serve the people, if they will not make policies and programs according to the need of the people, what would happen? It may result in losing the election. In short, if you open up your NCERT book, you'll find a cartoon on the page number 60 that a leader is saying, मेरे पास योजनाएं हैं, घोषणाएं हैं, वायदे हैं. But a citizen standing in front of him is saying, मेरे पास वोट है. So the people, they will only vote if the existing party work hard if they want to get elected, if they give good service to the people. And yes, of course, if elections are held after regular interval, it evaluates the existing government. Evaluates means checks, means if they have performed well, again they will be elected. If they have not worked well, if they are having bad policies, if they are not having good policies, then they will not be elected again. What happened in the case of Chaudhary Devilal. So these were some of the advantages of a political party, advantages of political competition. Now, let us discuss about a term that is electoral constituencies. Now, I hope you remember that in the starting of the chapter I told you, out of 90 seats, Lok Dal won 60 seats. So what is that seat? Yes, that seat is called electoral constituencies. Now let us take example in an election of chief minister, or you can say that state assembly for electing an MLA. The state is divided into different areas for the purpose of elections. These are called electoral constituencies or seats, what you say. The voters who live in this area will vote and elect one representative. This is for electing MLAs. The state is divided into small constituencies according to the population, and people of that particular area will vote and elect one representative. This is for electing an MLA if we are talking about state. Now if we are talking about prime minister's election or Lok Sabha elections, in case of Lok Sabha elections, the entire country is divided into 543 constituencies. The elected member is called a member of parliament or MP, what you say. The government tries to make sure that each constituency has equal population. So for Lok Sabha elections, our country is divided into 543 constituencies, or what you call is seats. And for state, it is divided according to the, both are divided according to the population, but for the state, the constituencies are different, and for Lok Sabha, the constituencies are different. Number of constituencies are different. So this was all about electoral constituencies. Now there are, in these constituencies, there are some reserved constituencies also. Now what do you mean by reserved constituencies? The makers of our constitution thought of a special system of reserved constituencies for the weaker sections. Some constituencies are reserved for the people who belong to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. In a scheduled caste reserved constituency, only someone who belongs to scheduled caste can contest for election. And if a constituency is reserved for a ST candidate, scheduled tribe candidate, then only a person who belongs to scheduled tribe constitution, scheduled tribe can only contest for election. Currently in Lok Sabha, 79 seats are reserved for scheduled caste and 41 for the scheduled tribes. Actually, this number is in the proportion of their share in the total population. According to the proportion of the population, these seats are reserved for ST and SC candidate. This system of reservation was later extended to other weaker sections at district and local level also. You might have seen in the panchayat elections or urban municipalities and corporation elections or local body elections, they are also now reserved for other backward classes as well. Means for ST, for SC and other backward classes. However, the proportion of reserved seats varies from state to state because their population also varies from population of the weaker section also differs from state to state. So their reserved constituency also varies from state to state. 1/3 of the seats are reserved in rural and urban local bodies for women candidates also. So these are called the reserved constituencies. This takes place in panchayats also, and each electoral constituency is called a seat. I hope you understood. Thank you for the day.